Punishing your loved ones is a really terrible bargain. So let's say someone does you wrong and you want to teach them a lesson and hope that they don't do it again. So maybe you yell at them, scream at them, slam doors, punch things, do whatever it is that you try and make your life worse doing so that they don't like it and then they change, right? Well, that's terrible because first, they've already wronged you once, which perhaps it might have been profitable for them to do. Maybe they showed up really late for something. Maybe even if it wasn't profitable, it was convenient. Now you are making your life worse through your own decision to try and influence them. And if you look at the dynamics of it, all you're doing is costing yourself now in the hopes that maybe the future turns out better. And that used to work a lot better when we had smaller societies where there's maybe 50 people. And in a society where there's only 50 people, your relationships are life or death. If there's a food shortage and you're not, doing well with everyone else in the group, you might not get food and then you might die, right? So we really, really care what other people think about us, and we really care about relationships that work well. And part of why that doesn't work as good as it used to is back then, you got to actually get some of the profits and some of the rewards from these big effortful things that you would do to try and modify other people's behavior, even if it was only subconsciously, right? You may not know exactly why you're being vengeful or trying to teach someone a lesson, but the feeling is there because it used to be very profitable. So these days, you can have a bad interaction with a loved one in the morning, have your morning ruined, and now you're going to maybe have a bad day at work. So there goes, another 8 hours, half of your, time awake that day, ruined, being angry, just thinking about how unfair what happened to you was. And the only day that was ruined was yours. The person that actually wronged you, they're going through their day just fine, right? So it's a little crazy and unfair that there's this first mover advantage to the person who does wrong first, and they get to keep the profit. And then it gets even worse. So the person that did you wrong, if you successfully punish them and, show them through your behavior that they shouldn't do that again, then maybe they get to apologize. And what do people that apologize do? They get nicer, they act, happier and more, submissive. I'm not sure what you want to call it, but they definitely try and make up for what they did. And how do they try and make up for what they did? Well, they get to live a better life. They get to have less stress. They get to be happy. They get to be more joyous. They get to treat you better. While you, some part of you, may see that there's profit in this new behavior, think that you've won the game, and maybe try and milk it for a little longer and act unhappy for longer. Like their behavior mods weren't enough for you. And so now you're going to act crappier for a little longer just so that you can enjoy them treating you better than normal. So first they wrong you, screws you over. Then you screw yourself over by trying to punish them. Then if you get what you want, a good apology and maybe treated better, maybe you screw yourself even a little more by trying to milk that for a while, right? So what's the magic? How do you get out of this? Try to be non-responsive if you can. If you don't have to punish someone, or if you can get better behavior out of them without getting a really frowny face and if you can avoid that, then you get the profit of not having a bad day, not having to treat them, poorly, not putting so much energy and effort into it. And hopefully if you've got the right people in your life, maybe that doesn't come up so often anyway, right? Relationships are mostly about choice. You're going to do a lot better having chosen the right people than you are trying to influence them to act better. People seem to change more often for the worse than for the good. And I know you can't choose your family so much as you can choose your friends and your lovers, but, you can change your environment, right?